All right, Creative. Here we are with another week, episode 15 of the show. Let's start with some listener comments. We actually received an email from Sorosio, which I mentioned he had also left us a review, and he's a fellow podcaster from the Hearthstone community that had been secretly playing Marvel Strike Force, and kind of like me, in a sense. I haven't talked about this, but he mentions how he was a long-standing member, eventually became an officer, eventually became the alliance lead. That's kind of what happened with me. Just kind of stumbled on the role. And he did share a lot of information about his war defense setup. I'm going to check in with him before we share anything because I don't want to give it all away, but he had some great ideas on how it's been working for him, considering their semi-casual alliance. But appreciate the email, and we'll follow up and see if we want to talk about it more. But again, you can reach us at rngendgame@gmail.com. Next, I'm going to talk about gearing and leveling. And let's start with what I've been farming. So, because of the Psylocke and the Shield Assault Blitz, I got very close on both of them to 7-star. So I put them back on the farm just to finish both of them off. And then Thanos as well. I'm like 10 or so shards away from 7-star. So I've been farming them, hopefully get him over with pretty quickly here. I finished Mr. Fantastic and Okoye and some of the others, so I rotated. But I still farm too much. As Creative knows, I farm like 10 characters at one time while he's stockpiling on gear, and then he's ready to level characters, and I'm not. So I need to get organized here. But I want to finish these 3 characters. I think Assault will help me get Iron Man. I need to look. But there's a problem, and that is that because of the gold spending constraints, I have a bunch of characters that I have ready to get to 7, but I haven't even done it because it's 500,000, and we want to spend about 1 to 1.2 for the milestones, so they're kind of in the back burner. And some of these are good, like Namor, that is important for war, Mr. Fantastic. So anyway, it's a limit that we have with these milestones, but I do have a bunch of characters ready to go. So once we're done, maybe with the next topic here, which is the Black Order, I've been spending a lot of money on them. Maybe once I'm finished with them, I can go back to these characters and level them up. But I have unlocked Ebony Maw at a 6-star. I haven't even brought him to 6. I just have him at 5. And I brought him all up to our parking lot level, which we talked about last week. That's tier 10, level 60, 6664. I'm actually not at the tier yet. I did do level 60 and the abilities, 6664. I'm waiting on the T10. That'll be tonight after the reset. So I'll get them to tier 10. I think I have enough for all 4 of them. So they're at tier 8 right now. And then hopefully get Ebony Maw to 6-star as well. So that'll complete my Black Order. They have been very effective in Blitz at 8.3. Premium Orbs, I did get a yo-yo again. So for the second time since this has come out, I had 15 shards of yo-yo. I only need 100 more. So I'm almost there just to get to 5-star.
I'm doing the what was the name of that movie? Oh, I can't think of it. It's Ben Stiller and De Niro, where he goes to the Fockers,
Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents, where he's doing the eyes pointing at him.
Yeah.
I see how it is. Get yo-yo 2 weeks in a row. Ugh. Anyway, but I only need about 10 drops of her to get from 3 to 4. So whatever.
Anyway, so I'm looking next. I have been seeing some variations for Ultima 7 and Dark Dimension 3. I mean, Symbiote Spider-Man is featured in the city. That's basically a requirement, kind of like Phoenix for the beginning. And then Ebony Maw apparently is making a splash in these raids. So I'm going to look at both to see if I have enough to bring them to tier 14. So that's going to be next. I'll turn it over to you, Creative, to see what you've done.
Well, it's a sad day for us. We have had a fantastic streak of red stars, truly defying the odds of the red stars. And the streak has ended that both of us were getting 4 red stars or better on all the new characters. And so I have only managed to get 3 red stars in Ebony, and you, I think, out of your last orb, out of like 60 plus orbs, finally got him to 4, but I am at a lowly 3 red stars.
Yeah, it's the last ditch effort. I was like, man, I'm spending all of my orbs, and I did get him to 4, but that's it.
Yeah, so I'm cleaned out. I've got nothing left, and I have a 3 red star Ebony Maw. So sad days, but we had a good run. Coal Obsidian, Taskmaster, Corvus, Proxima, Red Skull, all of those we have 4 red stars or better. We weren't paying attention with Toad and Blob, or things are just coming too hot and heavy there, so we didn't really do much there. And then for Cyclops, I've got 4, you've got 3, and then Symbiote, you've got 4, I've got 3. So technically, if you don't count Toad and Blob, we have 4 red stars between one of us on all these characters. So still a good run, but a sad day indeed. Particularly for a legendary character. Of course, it has to be that one.
I know.
But anyway,
I got out of all that a Hulk 4-star, a Wasp 4-star, and a Yo-Yo 4-star. So that was a good one.
Oh, okay.
So outside of that, the 5 that I got was a duplicate, and it's not like I'm swimming in 5s, but it was disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah, I think I opened like 30 red star orbs, and I got a Night Nurse at 4. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. But anyway, so moving on, farming. My farming list is going to be the same for a while. Hela, Hand Assassin, and then Karnak. So hopefully I can get my 7-star Phoenix, and then get my 7-star Magneto. So I am refreshing Hela multiple times a day to hopefully get there. And then we should take bets to see if my Karnak is actually going to make it to 6 yellow stars. I have a feeling he's going to be like Colossus, that I try to do it and he never makes it there. So we'll have to see. Gearing. So gearing, my next team of focus was Fantastic Four. And so they are now at the parking lot level. And Frid, you're still giving me a hard time that I need to keep going. And you cry a little bit when you see my team. But they are where they are.
Well, did you see what I did in War with them? I
Yes.
don't know if you saw.
Yeah, you need to talk about that ridiculous punch-up.
I can't even remember what it was. It was like a 500.
Yep. 500 versus your 300 maybe?
Yeah, 320 with the bonuses. Yeah, and it was a slugfest, but I got that punch up done. So that it is truly, and I need to still do Namor to 5 stars, but it's truly a nuke when it comes to those giant teams that you face in War, just to blow through them. I mean, they had the boost on, and I think it was a defense down team room through all of that, and they managed to get the win. So it's pretty impressive. Now I do have a bunch of red stars on them, so let's be clear, except on Thing, but everybody else has 4 or 5.
Still, it's a solid team. They'll get some love, in 2023 when,
A lot of people, I think, skip them because they're not required for anything, right? They're just really nice to have for War, but they're not really required.
Right.
For Legendary or for an event or for anything like that. So makes sense if you're newer, you're a little bit newer player than me and limited resources.
But yep, they have proven themselves in War, so thankfully between Fantastic Four, Power Armor, a couple of those teams that I've leveled out, I am putting up some solid damage numbers in War again, so that's good. And then like you, I'm spending, I don't know, it's been at least 2 million a day over the last few days, getting Black Order leveled up. I have had to farm blue gear. So last week I said I didn't care about the blue gear when we were talking about Ultima 6. Well, I am out of IBCs, ABCs, you name it. The trunk is empty, to say the least. I'm nearly out of purple catalysts across all of them. It's getting ridiculously crazy. So anyway, but that's kind of just the gearing. Still on the fence about what I'm going to do next. Since I have no ABCs, my options are pretty limited. I would love to take some additional characters up to T13. There's a lot of stuff going on in terms of people talking about, symbiote Spider-Man and how good he is in U7. There's a lot of people talking about how good Ebony Maw could be in U7. So we're going to keep evaluating that, and we can kind of report back. And then, of course, Premium Orbs. I got a grand total of 0 yo-yo shards. Again. So many, many weeks now, I've gotten no yo-yo, and I continue to shake my fist at Fox Next. Where's my yo-yo shards? So anyway, yeah. All right, so we'll switch gears to the news. And we're recording on Friday because I'm not going to be available this weekend. So we're going to talk more about data mines than, say, the official blog post, but they end up basically being the same thing. Everybody knows Ebony Maw has been released, and this is now the second legendary in a row with quite significant bugs. After Reddit and the content creators blew up, Fox Next was forced to acknowledge the bugs, and they were offering even refunds on, I think it's Ebony Maw's passive, maybe, because it was wildly overstated of 30% resistance instead of 10. So we'll see how that goes. And then we had more middle-of-the-night mysterious quote-unquote server issues. So around 3 a.m. Friday, the game went down. So I don't know if they're trying to fix some Ebony Maw defects in the middle of the night or not. Well, who knows? But yet again, we've had now some mystery maintenance or server outages in the middle of the night. Also, we saw a ton of Phoenix offers all of a sudden show up in the game. So I think Fox Next forgot that Ebony Maw runs for 7 days, as he's a new character, and someone clicked the button a little too fast. But anyway, we already have confirmation. Go ahead.
It was strange because it was similar to when you unlock a legendary. It was those kinds of offers. So I don't know if they reused the code from the Phoenix event and then it just triggered the offers, or what the heck was going on. But that was strange. Yeah. Oh, and there was another thing, that there was an unannounced second run of the double shards on Inhumans, which nobody knew about. But hey, we'll take it. But it'd be nice to know so that you can plan.
Yep. I got another 20 Karnak, so hey, maybe he will actually get to 6 yellow stars.
Oh wow, nice. That's good.
So we have confirmation, inherently that Phoenix is coming as we predicted. I'm projecting June 10th and crossing my fingers that she does not come earlier, because I'm going to be down to the wire to get Hand Assassin, yay, and Hela up to 7 yellow stars. And then we had a plethora of data mines come out. So Domino has been mentioned from different angles, but she is going to be announced in terms of her kit and abilities. Will be announced soon. She's X-Force. If you haven't seen the Deadpool movies, she has like this innate luck kind of thing. It's pretty cool. But unfortunately, they're touting her as a war offensive character. To that, we have a big boo, thumbs down.
And she's a controller, which is interesting, but
her luck controls the scenario.
Maybe, yes.
So.
And anyway, for this, I don't know much about the comics, but I have heard that in the comics, her power is different. She's almost like what do you call it when you can predict what's going to happen?
Soothsayer.
Yeah, like a fortune teller, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
see the future.
That it is Cannonball that has this luck power. Anyway.
The movies take creative license.
Yes, exactly. We're going with the movie version, it sounds like here.
Okay.
We'll see. No.
So to Fox Next, stop making mode-specific characters, please. Enough already. So that was the one thing that's in there. The other is we're getting a 2x campaign shards for AIM characters. So Scientist Supreme, I need to get her to 7 yellow stars. That'll happen in 2024, but maybe this will help a little bit. The long-promised Captain Marvel shards, this is like round 15 of this conversation, is finally coming out. So hopefully we can close that embarrassing chapter for Fox Next, so you'll get some more free Captain Marvel shards. Yay. And then there was the survey, which I didn't bother to do, the MSF awards. that's going to be announced. I think there's going to be something along with that, but I couldn't really figure that out. When Fred, I didn't see anything really tangible in the data mines about that.
No, I mean it was like these fun awards they did of survey of like rookie of the year. So it and character that was introduced in the last year, which was the best, and there was like Minerva or whatever. Um, I don't think I'm assuming the calendar and all these events are going to be around those characters that won, but no information, so we'll see.
Fingers crossed. Every time we vote for good characters and we get shards, we'll take it. So
Yes.
fingers crossed there. Ironheart, we knew she was going to be a Blitz. Now it's confirmed that she is coming on June 11th, and we'll talk a little more about Blitz in a little bit. Also, Juggernaut is coming as a Blitz, and it's going to be the Tadano Max style rewards, and that there'll be red stars within it, which is great for new players. We both have him for red stars or higher, so it doesn't work for us. We'll get some elite credits, but that's good enough. And then an odd announcement as well in the news, the data mines, which is that Thor will be permanent in the raid store for 24 hours. Come on. Come on. Just make them all permanent. This is just so annoying.
It did have the doubling of the drops too for the same cost.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's a little extra, but the point stands. You need to have them just everybody there, like Blitz or Arena. Well, I don't get this rotating mystery character. Just let people spend their credits how they see fit.
Yeah. But that's a good point, though, is like when we have these 2x events, it's only for the campaign nodes. It should be from the stores as well. Hey, come on.
So they're trying different things. I like the Tadano Mac thing. I think that's a great incentive for Blitz on top of just trying to get a character unlock. So.
Yep. Okay. And then, and I didn't want to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Dark Dimension 3. So, Fred, why don't you take us away?
I know you've been like ignoring the mode completely, and I had for the most part, but then eventually, I got Phoenix, I got Black Bolt, I got Hela, so then you start looking, all right, well, might as well start because it's there. At some point, you have to do it. It's going to take forever based on all we've heard, and it is, but first, a resource. Dutch Rudder, he's a streamer and a longtime player, and he put together, I think it was Dark Dimension 2, like a guide that was a Word document that gave you kill order and good characters to take and other stuff. He has now a spreadsheet that's a great resource that tells you every enemy from each of the nodes. He gives it a high, medium, low in terms of difficulty rating. He says which characters are dropping in which wave so that you can manage. And approximately this varies, but when things drop. So, hey, when you're down to like 5 characters, the next wave is going to drop. And you know that summons and stuff count, so you can try to manage around it. And it also gives you priority targets. So, hey, kill Star-Lord first, or Jessica Jones, because she gives energy and cleanses. And then also has good targets for if you're running Mr. Sinister, who to clone. I don't have him, but that's a good resource. You can make your own copy and kind of track your progress. He also gives ratings for some of the characters that you should take. So for the global nodes, he recommends with an A rating Phoenix, Colossus, Mr. Sinister, and Shuri. For Cosmic, he recommends Hela. And for City, it's Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man. I'll talk for a second about Tahiti, who has another guide more about what are the best characters to start with. And he recommends for the first nodes, Phoenix, Hela, Colossus, Black Bolt, and Shuri. And I'll just say right there that is my team. So I ended up bringing Colossus and Shuri up. That tech one was a bit of a debate internally. Do I want to do Ultron? Do I want to do Minerva? Do I want to do Scientist Supreme? Do I want to do Shuri? But because of Ultima 7 and just the defense up, I went with Shuri. I think she was a little cheaper, not by much, but that's what he recommends too. So I feel good about that. For global, he has Phoenix, Colossus, Shuri, Sinister, and Scientist Supreme. So I have 2 there that I would need to work on. For cosmic, he recommends Hela, Thor, Black Bolt, Minerva, and Sif or Loki. And then city is Symbiote, Spider-Man, Carnage, Ghost Rider, and Venom. And they should all have at least 4 red stars and 6 yellow stars. So that's a lot of characters to bring to T14. One of the things is that this game mode takes forever, and we'll talk about duration in a little bit when we run the numbers. But once you get through all this, which some people have been getting through, the rewards are a little bit, there's a lot of stuff, but it's random what you get. So there's some mini uniques, there's some superior uniques. Who knows how it's totally random what you get. It's nothing specific. As you go through the nodes, you get some gold and some mega ores, which is pretty useless. And a lot of orange gear, but it's not even enough to get us to bring another team or something like that. So you're spending, who knows how much, over 100 million in gold to get some of this gold back. It's just a forced way to get you to level up characters to T14. So I felt like I was doing it organically for help my arena and Ultima 7. But those later nodes feel a little bit forced, like city. I wasn't planning on doing T14 on some of these characters, but I may have to. So, I will report on my progress here when we get into the numbers, but it's not that fun. You just something that you do once a day and then move on. So not a lot of love for Dark Dimension 3.
So are your matches lasting longer than 30 seconds?
Just because I try again to see if I can find something, but they last a good 2 minutes maybe. Awesome. Because of defense up. And then you're like, oh, I didn't like that. Let's try again. Bad RNG. Then try again. But yeah, I'm not getting much out of the mode. It doesn't add anything to learning how the game works or how to do fights or anything like that.
I think you're being overly nice. The rewards are worthless. So you got to level up like 11 characters to get through this thing. It within 3 years worth of time, and then what do they give you? A few more orange gear items. I've already leveled up 11. Now I have to. Do you want to give me a few more? I don't see having any value whatsoever. As I've stated in the past, it's a terrible mode. I'm going to focus on what helps me in U7 and what helps me in Arena. And I will get 5 characters eventually, and I'll go from there. But it's.
Sounds like you're going to be an accidental DD3. It just happens because you just did it.
Yeah.
The characters.
I'll definitely be using Phoenix so she can die and just automatically do some damage and then just call it a day. I don't even know if I'm actually going to play it. We'll see. But I'm so over and done with DD3. I've watched a ton of videos, and every one of them, the content creators just cursing like, what the hell? So anyway. Okay. What else?
Let's see. We talked about this. We
covered Ironheart. So
it's another blitz. Yeah. People are just kind of fed up with the blitzing and the release method of blitz. There's just what I heard somebody say is that it's easy and cheap for them. They just throw it in there rather than put some time towards either a new method or, putting a campaign event or the story, all that stuff. Blitz is just jam it in.
Now, do you think they being Foxnext, are going to do any changes? Because content creators, Reddit, everyone is like, we're done. We're done with Blitz. Stop doing Blitz. It's enough. It's horrible. I think there was even a good post on Reddit by a guy named Sidwell where he said, Blitz gets worse the older the game gets. And I was like, so I clicked on that. And he outlined that Blitz cooldowns were about 6 hours in the beginning, and that you only really had about 8 teams.
Right.
Well, now you've got a 2-hour cooldown in 20 plus teams. And so you have almost no time in between cycles. It took me like an hour to get through my 20 plus teams this morning. And I'm like, good gracious. And next thing I know, it's like practically time again. So I think that was a good perspective of it might have worked in the beginning, but in its current state and form, it needs some help.
Right. It's about not scaling with the game and the roster that people have. And with a smaller character set, then yeah, you can. It's very limited what you can do and you're done. But now it's crazy. Like that guy that did the 100 million runs 27 teams or 28 teams, whatever it is, all the way through.
So it'll be very interesting to see. We haven't had a strike time in forever. Fox Next hasn't at all touched this topic, and there's a whole lot to it, bots and all the other stuff. But it'll be interesting to see if they change anything there. But we're still waiting on, at least give us the simulate button. Come on, please. Still ridiculous punch-ups, but that's more because T14 broke the game. So we'll see. And then, our other things that we always talk about that we still haven't heard about. Yo-Yo is still only in the premium orbs. And then we still have not seen any changes to the low quality time. So Fox Next, we gave you some things to think about. You've had over 100 days. Get it going. All right, so with that, let's switch gears. Let's run the numbers. And so from a Dark Dimension 3 theme, we'll unfortunately keep talking about this game mode. We've talked about it in the past, and the cost to upgrade these characters is quite high. You can get away with 11 characters. We talked about the math of leveling up 15 characters, and that was over 154 million in gold. And I know what you're thinking. You say, oh, well, you can spend war credits too. And the answer is, sure you can. But war credits, to get the currency, and this is just for Orange Uniques and Mini Uniques, is about 1.7 million to do 15 characters. So 11 would be a little less. That's only going to take you a mere 130 weeks or 2.5 years to get what you need to buy the Orange Uniques and Mini Uniques if you were in Gold 3 in terms of war. So, either way, it's going to take forever. I think to get that amount of gold, it was 170 days. So it takes a long time to get all of this gear, and just to get the currency, whether it be gold or war credits, to get the gear, to get that to buy the gear. And then you have to, of course, wait for the dumb store for things to show up. So I'm very much frustrated with those things, as I'm sure you can tell. But Frid, let's talk about what's the duration that people are taking to get through Dark Dimension.
Yeah, so this guy we mentioned, Tahiti, in his Discord, he has been polling people that have completed all of the Dark Dimension 3 and the nodes, just to get a sense for how long it's taking. And the first 4 nodes, which are the open, they don't have a trade or anything, they take on average 59 attempts. And then you have the global nodes. Those take 78 attempts on average. Cosmic nodes is 55 attempts, and city nodes take 43 attempts. I don't know if they're easier or Symbiote is crazy or what's going on, but that global seems to be the slog of this. So the total of all this is 235 attempts, right? Remember that you get 1 attempt a day, right?
For free.
So we're talking about, 1 free attempt a day. What are we talking about here? That's
2/3 of a year.
8 months or 9 months? It's like having a baby. Try to get this DD3 out.
Oh, and here's your orange gear.
Yeah, more orange gear that may be focused chi or some crap that you don't need, because it's random. I saw Casino completed, and it was random. You get 12 of each randomly. That's superior. But anyway, I have completed node 1. It took me 3 attempts, and in node 2, I've done 5, and I think I can clear it in the 6th attempt, which is the next one tomorrow. And then I get to the node of doom, node 3, which everybody agrees is the worst of the whole mode. So I'm very much looking forward to talking about that with you for the next month.
So, needless to say, And if you haven't caught the theme yet, Dark Dimension 3, I wouldn't go spend a bunch of cores. I wouldn't go level up, what's some of the characters? Trooper or
Oh
Sabretooth,
yeah.
just so you can get in there again. Do what makes the most sense for your roster for U7, for Arena, and that kind of stuff, and kind of organically go in is how we'd recommend it. So 235 attempts. Good gracious. Wowzers. I mean, what a difference, right? Of Dark Dimension 2. I did that in, I think it took 3 weeks, the first pass through, and then I did it less than 24 hours the second way through. But man, whew.
And you got Ultron.
Yes, and we got Ultron, the character we use every day.
It's like a Black Bolt kind of game changer, a Phoenix type of character. Versus here you get more gear that you don't have money to upgrade characters because it's at level 75. So I feel your pain. That something to do once a day and be done with it.
Yep. Okay. And then, as always, when I get frustrated with the game, I run the numbers, and so I've been talking about ABCs for a while, and we did the math a while back that you get 160 ABCs per week. Again, that depends upon where you are in the game. For us, that's what we're getting in gold 2, 3, and where we are within other aspects. So I started running some numbers of why do I have no ABCs? I can't seem to build up any except when we were in the Black Bolt waiting room and we're doing no leveling. And so I kept thinking to myself, why do I have no ABCs? And so I did a little math. And so you get 161 ABCs per week. And so that means it's going to take you nearly 2 weeks to get the ABCs that you need for one character. And so I then said, okay, well, how many characters are we really getting per month? We always use the 4 new characters. That was the running joke for a while. In reality, we're averaging 3 characters per month. Before COVID, there was 1 month we got 5. During COVID, there was 1 month we got 1. But overall, we're getting 3 characters per month. So I said, okay, we're getting 3 characters per month on average, and I did a whole bunch of math and review of this. On average, you need about 300 ABCs per character. So for those 3 characters, you need about 900 ABCs. And the answer is you only get about 600 ABCs per month. So there's a deficit of 250 to 300 ABCs per month that we are not getting. And that's just for the new characters, not anything about the whole rest of the roster that still needs to be upgraded. So, the math is broken here. We need to get Wolverthor to do his rant on gold, but we need him to rant on ABCs. We need some more ABCs. So we'll see. I hope that Fox Next does the same thing that they did for the Alpha Raid and its orb and put ABCs in there, but we need more ABCs. Please, can I get more ABCs?
Yeah, I mean, think about an endgame type of player. This is the most you can get, so it is built in to be a deficit. So you either had to make decisions or probably spend money, I guess, is ultimately what this leads to, if you really wanted to get everybody up.
Yeah. So anyway, with that, why don't we keep our Festivus theme running, and let's have our airing of grievances.
And yes, this was a short one, but it's been building up for a few weeks, and I know you have something to say here too. But as it's about Arena, and I gave a tip last week of, okay, if you wanna, and again, this is if you're trying to get high ranking. I mentioned that it's for rank 1, you should be sitting in rank 6 or so at near the time of the cutoff. But it's applicable for whatever cutoff you're trying to get to, right? So if you're trying to get to the top 100 or 200 or whatever, top 50, same kind of rules apply. I think the bands are a little wider when you're at a lower rank, but you just want to have room to be able to choose an opponent. But this whole thing of the 6 o'clock craziness, everybody in my chart has figured out how it works. So, around 550, 555, we're all in there trying to wait each other out to see who are we going to attack, because of the way it works, whoever you beat at the cutoff, that's going to be the ranking that you're in. But if, let's say I beat the number 3 guy and I think it works where if he beat the number one and I beat him at the cutoff, then I get propelled to number one and he gets knocked down to where I was, or maybe below. It's a crazy system, and you felt this going down significantly at the cutoff.
Oh yeah.
And what are you? There's nothing to defend against it. You can't even see that, like we talked, the history of who attacked you. I'm not sure what the solution is, but it's very frustrating that sometimes at 5 minutes, I try to hit the number two or one opponent, and it says, "Oh, somebody's already attacking them," so you can't do anything. You're just sitting duck, probably somebody attacking you, and then it sends you down to 7, 10, 15, and nothing you can do about it. They have very smart people that do offers and ways to get us to spend money. They should get some of them to think about a better mechanism for dealing with Arena. What do you think about this, Creative?
Yeah, so I mean, let's go through maybe some of the tips that I gave you a while back, and we've talked about a few of them. So one is if you really want to be a high rank or to make sure that you get into that next reward tier, you have to do a fight at the end. And now it's even harder because Black Bolt blows up everything, so fights can take like 2 minutes. In the past, I used to always do my last fight. I would select the team that I wanted to fight around 550, worst case 551, and then you sit on your character selection screen. And you have a whole minute there where that team is locked in, no one else can attack them, and you have them. So you wait for the full 55 seconds to start the match. Once it gets down to lower numbers, you hit that, you go into the match, and there was even a Wolverthor video on this one where you do almost all of the fight and you leave the last character with a sliver of health, and you literally check your watch and see, am I close to 6 p.m. or not? And once it's as close as you can possibly get it without the timer expiring, you finally kill the person. Now with Black Bolt and fights finishing so fast, you almost have to do another fight around 5:55 just to ensure that you're going to get it done. So you're going to have to spend cores, at least 25 cores in that last 10 minutes to do one, if not two fights. But all those kind of tips are important. Selecting, finding a team that you can attack, sitting on your team selection as long as you can, and then sitting in the fight as long as you can, leaving them with a sliver of health. It's an awesome game mode, I tell you. So we're very negative today, but I do take those tactics to heart. And you can go watch Wolverthor's video. I think he called it Achieve Number 1. And literally he does the exact same thing. He's like, okay, now I get to sit here for 2 minutes. So, but keep that in mind. But the rubber banding is really, really frustrating. I was at rank 2. And the timer expires in terms of the 24-hour clock, and then all of a sudden I'm rank 14. I'm like, what in the world? So so be careful around that. But the key thing to guarantee you're going to get there is do a fight in the last 5 minutes and do some of those tips and tricks to ensure that you're locked in, and hopefully the guy you're attacking is beating somebody else upstream, and then you can do the rubber banding in favor of you.
It happened to me, what you're describing. That's exactly what I do now, because you try to isolate Phoenix generally in these fights. So if you succeed, then Dark Phoenix is sitting there. But then, if Black Bull is next up, he hits super hard and then has the follow-up. So I'm like, okay, there's 10 seconds. The animations. So the other day, there was 110 Dark Phoenix, and it didn't kill her on time. I kept hitting buttons to try.
Oh man!
So I missed it by like 2 seconds. So I ended up ranked 7 or whatever instead of 3. It's crazy the stuff you have to do. Plus you have to be there at that time. There's no other way around it. They should really think about adjusting this somehow.
I mean, even the little things that we talked about a couple weeks ago of moving the time, because I'm getting tired of the wife stare at me. Why do you have your phone on in dinner time?
It's like, I gotta get this fight in.
Come on, man. I gotta get a rank number 1. Come on, man.
I mean, it is a lot of cores, especially at that level.
It's huge amount of cores at that level. I mean, you go from, you could get up to 200, maybe 300 more cores just by a couple spots. So, I mean, yes,
and it all
one
comes
day
down to those seconds and how proficient you are at killing them right on the
Yeah, yeah.
5:59 with 58 seconds. Boom.
Exactly. So I don't try and cut it that close, generally speaking, but if you can manage to get it down to that, good for you. But I'm always a little leery, and so I try to be taking out at least 30 seconds left, just to be on the
Ugh.
safe side. Because half the time you'll attack them, you'll think they're dying, they'll still have a sliver of health, and you're
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh, hit the
that's
phone
what
as fast as you can.
happened to me. And then Phoenix is going and doing like a big animation. Oh no, this is taking too long.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well,
All right. So next week we'll have to weave some positive things in. But this week of course we're talking about Dark Dimension 3, so I've got to be negative. I'm sorry, it just has to be. But let's finish off with Conspiracy Corner, Fred.
yeah, this is a short one, and it's a classic. I'm transporting this one from Hearthstone, from my days there, and if you we're thinking again about these patents and all this stuff on how the unpublished drop rates of things are manipulated behind the scenes. And there's a concept in Hearthstone called the pity timer. Pity timer is when you're opening packs, you're not getting a legendary card. So for over and over and over again. And there used to be a pity timer basically says, well, after 40 packs of not seeing one just because of bad luck, because it's random, right? We'll give you one guaranteed. But this is unpublished. Nobody knows if it's true or not. I think eventually they did publish it and change it to every 20 packs you're guaranteed a legendary, or maybe it was the first 10 packs you open of a new expansion, you get one. Some rule, again, unpublished. So with Taskmaster, I was opening orb after orb using my method, and nothing in the middle. So I was telling Creative, hey, I don't think I'm going to get to 5 stars here. And I have 5 red stars. So for the whole week, nothing in the middle. And today I open one and get the 24 in the middle. So I do wonder if they're employing the pity timer. And after, who knows, it was probably 15 orbs or more of nothing in the middle. They'll drop a big one so that you don't lose complete faith in the system.
Well, I would say, so I've had the exact same thing happen with Taskmaster. I can give you some other examples where I think it happens. And so if you farm a campaign node for several days and nothing happens, you get none of the shards. Then all of a sudden you get 4+. You've had that happen plenty of times, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's on the older phones, you could see some of these things where it would wait a little longer. It would basically be you talking to the server. Hey, has this guy gotten any shards recently? No. Oh, he hasn't. Oh, here's 4. So on the newer fancy phones, you can't see it as much, but you could definitely see a lag. They're doing some extra math behind the scenes.
Let's check. Oh, man, it's been like 3 days.
This guy's about to quit. We better give him some shards.
No, I mean, there's definitely all of that in those patents. It's crazy, but yes. But yeah, so it looks, at least, I need still quite a few, but it looks closer. I think I'm going to make it. There's only like a day left, so we'll see if I make it or not. I may have to. I don't know how you complete them. Can you buy those? I don't know. Orbs for Taskmaster?
Oh, yeah, you could. I'm sure you could buy the orbs for real money, but
it's like $20. No.
Yeah, not so much. So anyway, but that one's a fun one because I used to see that all the time on the old phone. They would go a little slower all of a sudden.
Hey, you get more.
he needs some shards. He's gonna quit. So anyway, yep. So that's another fun week, Frids. So let's close out with how the listeners can get out and get in touch with us. So we're on Twitter at rngendgame. On Discord, we always have our Ragnarok public Discord link in the show notes or the description. You can leave us a comment on the Podbean page, and also email. You can send us an email at rngendgame. And of course, Frid's favorite is if you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Tell us what you want. As always, we will read out any comments, so keep them PC. But feel free to stop by, talk to us on any of those methods. Let us know what you want to hear about. Always interested in hearing how people are viewing the show and what you want to hear about. So thanks, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Talk to you next week.